Thank you, Adam and Lauren. So, I have been a big fan of this next speaker for over 2 years. People kept coming to me and saying, "You've got to meet this guy because he is doing things with containers that will blow your mind." And it was so true. I learned that, among many other things, he was containerizing all of the revenue generating systems at a top hotel company that was collectively supporting over $30 billion of annual revenue. Dwayne Holmes did this work as their Senior Director of DevSecOps and Enterprise Platforms. For years, I've wanted him to give a talk about what he was doing here at this conference, but due to a variety of reasons, we were never able to make that happen. But thanks to him moving to a new company, I'm so delighted that he's finally able to share his story, which among many other things earned him the title of Google Cloud Certified Fellow, having built and managed one of the world's largest Kubernetes installations. So I'm even happier that he is now joining our longtime friend John Rostarski at PNC Bank as their VP of Converged Applications and Cloud. Please welcome Dwayne Holmes.
Thanks, Gene, so much. I really appreciate the opportunity for you to have me here. I've definitely been following your work like everyone, and I appreciate the awesome words. So my name is Dwayne Holmes, and I'm talking about my DevOps journey. And to protect the innocent in this presentation, I will be vague. All the way up until last month, I worked for one of the largest hotel companies in the world. In 2019, they have revenues of over $20 billion. They have 170,000 employees. They're over 90 years old with over 7,400 locations or hotels with 1.4 million rooms available. In 2016, they had a large merger approved. In 2018, that merger integration was completed. And in 2019, we rolled out a massive program for our customers. So a little about the things that we accomplished during that time. All the way up until last month, I ran a team that supported over 3,000 developers across multiple service providers. Our model was that we had few FTEs, but lots of service providers when it came to development. So development was done when there was a project that was greenlit by corporate. In 2016, microservices and containers were running actually in production. In 2017, over 1 billion was processed in containers. I didn't say microservices because we had microservices and also micro monoliths that were running in containers at the time. 90% of all new applications that were coming out of development were in containers or are in containers. And Kubernetes was actually running in production in 2017. In 2018, we were one of the top 5 largest production Kubernetes clusters by revenue, according to Red Hat and JFrog. And by 2020, when I left, we did thousands of builds and deployments per day. We ended up having 2 Google Cloud Certified Fellows. And we had experience running Kubernetes in 5 cloud providers. And the one that most people won't guess is AliWeb. So you need to know, in order to know where you're going, you need to know where you've been. So about me. In 2012, I worked for a financial company, and over 95% of infrastructure was outsourced. So out of 500 employees, only 5 were retained. Developers thought that if they outsourced all of infrastructure to a provider, the provider would do architecture, engineering, and operations. Well, as everyone knows, the same amount of work still was required because we had no engineers or architects, but we had a large outsourced provider contingent that was able to help us. So I learned 3 principles when I was at this financial company. The first one, the CIO always talked about dial tone. I'm also a closet economist, so I believe in Adam Smith about the division of labor and trade specialization. And finally, I believe in automating everything. So what is the dial tone principle? I always tell this story anytime I get a new team. And it's basically like No one cares about any of the technology that you use to implement a phone. It could be Cisco or Avaya or whatever. It just better work. When the business picks up the phone, they expect a dial tone. Anything less makes the business upset. And this to me means that you focus on what is important. So this led me to Ruby on Rails. And most people, especially my mom, know what Etsy and Hulu and Square and Instacart and Airbnb and Twitter and Twitch do. However, they don't know the development platform that all these started on, which was Ruby on Rails. And the reason why I love Ruby on Rails is because of Doctrine 2, where it talks about convention and over configuration. And that basically means that we focus on things that do not accelerate business value. And we should focus on things that accelerate business value. So because of that, a lot of decisions are already made before you even use the framework. The other thing, because I'm a closet economist, I love Adam Smith's Wealth of the Nations. I firmly believe in division of labor and also trade specialization. And there's a story called The Lawyer versus Secretary. Suppose you have a secretary or a lawyer, and this lawyer can type faster, file faster, and use a computer faster than the secretary. However, would the attorney choose to be a secretary or choose to be an attorney? That's, of course, they would choose to be the attorney. So every hour that an attorney is spent doing secretarial work is an hour that they can't become a lawyer.